Well, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hey, before we get started, please subscribe. I would love to have you here on a regular basis. Also, don't forget that like button. It's right down there somewhere. Helps out the channel. So, what is on the table? Well, as you can see, this is a cold steel. This, in fact, is the Code 4. Now, I've had a version of this before. I had the drop point. And, the last year and a half been tough on everybody. My knife collection's changed quite a bit because I had to move some stuff. That's just what happens. But I realized I didn't like not having one of these. And when I went to replace it, I got a good look at the Tanto version of this thing and realized that's what I wanted in the collection. This compound grind Tanto is just gorgeous. Now, the reason we're taking a look at this knife now is because, at least at the time of I make this video, it may not be the case when this goes live in a week or so, these are $70 on Amazon. It is aluminum scales. It is the triad lock S35 VN blade with this fantastic compound hollow grind on the Tanto. This is a lot of knife for not a lot of money right now. And even at $100 or $120, this is still a superb pocket knife. Now, it doesn't appeal to everybody, particularly the Tanto. I know JB's out there saying, but I don't like Tantos. And that's okay. You don't have to get the Tanto. You can get whatever you'd like. I just happen to like this one because of the grind. It makes me really happy. This is a lightweight, easy to pocket, relatively easy to carry, and we'll get to that in just a second, pocket knife from Cold Steel. I mean, look at how thin this thing is. It is ridiculous, and it just disappears in the pocket. I say relatively easy to carry because it has a very traditional Cold Steel clip on it, which means, damn, this thing is made out of, I don't know what it's made out of, some sort of heavy-duty steel. While it does have an okay amount of ramp, as you can see, it could be a little taller. It's got plenty of room for thick jeans, but getting it in and out is kind of a pain in the ass. I am going to investigate an alternative clip for this. I had a Pops Carry clip on my other one that was deep carry. I think I'm going to look for something that isn't quite so deep carry for this time, but we'll see what I find. I really like this knife. Now, if you like cold steels, you're going to know sort of what I'm talking about here. Even though this is a lightweight version of many of their heavier duty knives, this thing absolutely feels like you could run over it with a tank and it would be just fine. And I think it would. I have seen people take this color off the aluminum. I have seen people add textured tape here for grip. Lots of little things you can do to make this your own. But for S35 VN from a company like Cold Steel that does a really good heat treat, this is a really good knife for the money. Now, it's not as well made as some knives I have. You know, there's a little bit of gapping on the sides here around the triad lock. Other than that, even the grind on this one is really even and well done. It is, as I said, very comfortable. Now, a knife this thin, and I don't have anything on the table that's nearly this thin, if it was thinner through the handle, it would be uncomfortable for me. But because of how nice and tall this is a really good grip. This is an excellent cutter and an excellent slicer. I really like Cold Steel knives. I have a bunch of them. I used to have more, as I mentioned, but I'll probably rebuild that part of my collection as we go forward. Let's get the specs out of the way, and then we'll do some size comparisons. What do you get for your between, I think this was $67 right now, but sometimes they run around $100 or a little more. You get a little over 3 1/4 inches of cutting on a little over 3 1/2 inches of S35 VN. The grip area from behind this swell, we'll do it from right about there, it's just about a full 4 inches, which means I have plenty of knife coming out the back. This is a really comfortable knife. The overall knife in length is 8 1/2 inches, which is not bad. As I mentioned, it is very thin. It is just a little hair over a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, and yet they don't skimp on the thickness of the slice of steel that they use. And again, on this Tanto. Look at this grind. Super thin behind the edge back here. Really robust tip for piercing and for, piercing cuts if you need to push into something and then cut down. I have taken apart all of the stuff I usually cut. You guys have heard the speech before. Seatbelt material, paracord, you name it. And this thing has done a fantastic job. This would be an absolute cardboard killer. Now it does say code 4 really big right there on the blade. I wish maybe that it didn't, but that's okay. On this side, you've just got the Cold Steel logo. Of course, these are made in Taiwan, and it says S35VN. One of the strange things about this knife is the thumb studs are, well, it's built for right-hand use. You can flip the clip. Oh, let me rephrase that. It comes with a left-hand clip because this is an older one. I guess some of the newer ones aren't doing that. Excuse me, older design. Some of the newer releases aren't coming with the lefty clip, but this one still does. You can also unscrew the thumb studs and switch them so that the larger stud, as you can see, right? One side is considerably bigger than the other, is on the left-hand side, which I think is, in this world where people tend to forget about lefties, that's not bad. That's really not bad. Let's do some size comparisons just for fun. Let's get it lined up here. Here it is against the Mini Presidio 2, which is about the same length as the Bug Out, but I like it because it's a little bit thicker in the handle, as you can see. The Code 4 is considerably bigger. Here it is against a full-size grip. I love this knife. As you can see, the Code 4 is 3/4 of an inch longer, maybe a little less. Yeah, about a ½ inch longer. You get very similar amount of cutting surface on the grip, but you just get a little more handle on the Code 4. And as our large knife comparison, we're going to do the full size. Here we go. And as you can see, the Code 4 is a little smaller. So the Code 4 is a good sized knife. It is not a small knife, but I'll tell you, because of the way it's designed, if you're wearing, and how much it weighs, which isn't much, if you're wearing light shorts or slacks, this is an excellent large knife for that environment. It really is. I love this thing. I love it because of what it is. It's a little ridiculous in all the right ways. It's an excellent cutter. It's not a showpiece. It's just a straight user from a company known for generating excellent straight user knives. And yet in this particular instance, it's not a big, bulky sort of mini machete. It's just sort of it's just a great carry. I didn't think I was going to miss it when I sold it, and then I did, so I got another one. This time, though, I got a blade that appeals to me. But as I said, there's a clip point and a drop point version of this. You can get whatever you like that makes you happy, and that's one of the things about the old Cold Steel, and hopefully eventually the new Cold Steel, that I really enjoy, is they used to make knives like this and the Recon 1 and some others in a variety of blade shapes to appeal to not just a user, but many users. And I really think that is just awesome, because a lot of knife companies miss out on that. Cold Steel manages to do it because they manage to keep their knives to a reasonable budget, price-wise, so that they can make many of them in many varieties and many different styles, and people can afford them. The most recent releases from Cold Steel under new flagship, new ownership of GSM, the prices have come up quite a bit. And I get it, but at the same time, that kind of bums me out. Right now, these older ones are available, and people seem to be moving them really cheap. So I think you might want to get in on that. Let's get the rest of the specs out of the way. All right, how much S35VN do you get? You get 3.4, yeah, my caliber is just, yeah, so 3.39, 3.4 millimeters, which is a nice, as I said, slice. The handle is only 9.4 millimeters thick, which is 0.36 of an inch. I mean, come on, it is super light, super thin. Speaking of how lightweight it is, let's weigh it out. Oh, there we go. 4.3 ounces for all aluminum scales, big thick chunk of S35 VN, good sized blade. I mean, the closed length on this thing is 5 1/8. This is a big knife that weighs in at 4.3 ounces. That is a really good carry weight, particularly for lighter pants. Anyway, this was on my mind today. So I thought I'd give it a review. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at the Cold Steel Code 4. I know I have enjoyed bringing it back into the collection. Don't be afraid to jump on Amazon and see how much these are going for. If you're looking for a thin in the pocket, lightweight, but very robust and durable pocket knife, the Code 4 is likely for you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Take care, guys.